And we back. So here I am having a lovely, lovely conversation with the JaMelle Hill, running for Congress in the second district. And if you caught part one, you understand that she's at this moment not running as a Democrat. But we want to kind of get away from the party, the names and the party lines. And we were kind of speaking about dope things that could happen if, you were able to work with a Republican or something of that nature. Republicans recently passed something along the lines of a veteran thing, right? You were speaking of. Could you enlighten me on that a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. So first, we just got great news. I want to start out.
You're right.
by saying-
I apologize. We have amazing news.
Drum roll. Yes, we have our first major supporter and endorsement.
Yes.
GRTL, Georgia Right to Life, which is a pro-life group here in Georgia. They have decided to endorse my candidacy. And so I'm super excited.
Yes.
I'm excited to get the message out. I know that's a conversation we can have later because it's a very intimate conversation. Initially, I did not necessarily agree with infringing upon people's rights. And then I learned what personhood is and that a child has rights from the moment of conception. So we'll talk about that later. But I would love to say thank you. Thank you to Miss Christine Brasky. She's over the local chapter here in Georgia, and also to the platform itself. Thank you very much for endorsing my candidacy. I look forward to getting the word out. Yes.
Shouts out.
Yes.
And that was an exclusive here on Controversial Conversation. Got a chance to announce that endorsement. Dopeness. So I guess we can get to the veterans in a second. You just spoke about something that was very, very important. Right to life. And you're right. We can definitely have the pro-choice, the pro-life conversation later. But what definitely actually needs to be spoken about now is the maternal mortality rate, and especially when it comes to African American women. So, oof, man, it's bad.
6 times.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Here in Georgia, it's very, very, very bad. So, do you believe that maybe some type of universal or Medicare for all type of system would help that?
I absolutely believe that. You'll hear me say this numerous times. Health is holistic, it's mental, it's physical, and it's spiritual. And so we cannot be productive members of society if we are not healthy. And what we found in COVID is that healthcare being linked to unemployment is not what's best for the American population.
Right.
It worked before in its capacity. But now we know that it's time for us to evolve as a nation and for us to make sure that people's basic and primary healthcare needs are taken care of. Your dental health, your mental health, of course, your physical health. All of those, I believe, should be encompassed. Now, when I say universal health care for all, I don't necessarily mean that people should be able to go and get, surgeries that aren't medically required. I also, even the level of surgeries, right? There are different levels of invasiveness in surgeries. I believe that they should not all be covered, but I do believe that basic quality health care should be provided to every American citizen. I believe it's an intrinsic. It's like human rights, right? It's intrinsic that in order to be productive and to live a fulfilling life, that you need to be healthy, and so.
Yeah, I mean, it's written right there in the preamble to me. I don't understand how to provide for the general welfare does not include a universal healthcare system. Like, that is written into our founding documents. Right. So you're right. Like, we need some type of universal healthcare system that can address at least the basic essentials of what.
Preventative care, because we can't always. We've always been a reactive society. Right. We reacted to COVID, right?
We tried.
When President Obama had the foresight to put in. He saw it, and that's what I loved about where we were headed as a nation. He had the foresight to say this may happen, this may come. They saw it coming, right? And then to say, okay, let's put some processes in place so that when it happens, we're ready for it, and we can address it accordingly. We have to take that. The same thing as a career advisor, I would tell my students, you prepare in elementary for middle, you prepare in middle for high, and high for college, and then once you get in college, you have to prepare for what's after college. It's the same thing with your health. You have to be proactive. You cannot wait and just be reactive. And so, just basic services.
I definitely agree. Excuse me. And it seems like these basic services are being denied to some of the people who need them most. And we said we were going to speak about veterans, and I guess we can go ahead and just segue straight off into that. It seems like after they've served this country and given their best, they're here begging for change, and not necessarily money. Like, they need change in structural, systematic ways. And healthcare is something that needs to be addressed. The VAs are underfunded, and in your district, you have a couple VAs. So I think, do you feel that there's a way that you could maybe help that situation out?
Yes, I want to. That's what I love to do is tell me the facts, give me the information, tell me where we're lacking, and then let's use data. Let's come to an educated, informed place where we're able to make a decision that actually implements policies and influences policies. We want to influence policies and implement policies that actually help based on data. I want to say thank you to veterans. Thank you so much for your service. Thank you for having the courage, the bravery to put your lives on the line for this country. There is no greater love than to lay down your life. So thank you so much to the veterans. Also, because we were just talking about healthcare, I definitely want to say thank you to our essential workers. Again, you are also you're putting your lives on the line every day to go and take care of people that you don't even know. So to make that type of commitment, I mean, they both come from a place inside. All people aren't built equally, right? And so to be able to do that, it takes a certain special kind of person. So I want to say thank you to both of those parties. But back to the veterans, I mean, I have veteran family members, and I mean, I have currently active. My cousin is in the Navy. I have several cousins who are in the Army or have retired from the Army. I have people in my life who are retired Marines. So I've been exposed to different branches of the military. And the common denominator between all of them is the camaraderie, right? The brotherly love that they have for one another, that says no man is left behind, that says I will go and pick you up off of the battlefield and carry you on my back in the middle of enemy, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Enemy sniper. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir, right? But
right.
To do that and then come home and not have that support. If we can spend, how much do we spend on military? I
think the defense budget is sitting at around $700 billion now.
So we have billions that we spend towards our military, our active military, but then our veterans come home, and then what is I have that information next time. Now what is the budget that?
Like, you ain't gotta have like the numbers. Like, something just doesn't add up. If we're having to spend this much money on our defense budget, but our veterans can't find houses, they don't have health care, they're not getting jobs, mental health issues, PTSD is running rampant, and we could get the resources if we had diverted some of the funding to it, but nah, we're too busy giving this defense money to defense contractors, and that's a problem.
Right.
So it feels like you would but you will actually fight for the veterans, like the veterans are fighting for you.
Absolutely. One thing that I recently found out is there is only one all-female veteran homeless shelter in the nation. Let me say that again. One female, all-female homeless shelter that specifically caters to veterans in the entire nation, because women veterans have a different set of issues. They may have children, right? And I was in speaking, I was like, when a man comes home, he can find a woman. But when a woman comes home and she's a soldier, that's a different type of woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's a soldier. And so, for a man to be able to make that adjustment and cater to her needs, if she doesn't already have that type of support when she comes home, then where are we leaving them? And that it's unacceptable. There's no other way to put it. It's unacceptable. You even have veterans who come home and are unable to find employment. They want to work, right? But they're we have a here, wonderful, Warner Robins Air Force Base, but to be able to find employment as a veteran, we need to be able to help and assist. And if we just work together and use, and again, policies and laws that addressed it top down, because it's not just in Georgia.
Right. No.
Right. But if we get in Congress, and I'm the voice for those veterans, and I say, and when we go to pass laws and bills, and I say, hey, but what do we have in here? Again, just being that voice at the table. That's what I want to be.
Right. And you also spoke about essential workers. I myself, aside from doing this podcast, have been dragging my ass to work every day during this damn pandemic, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it sucks. There's been no added relief, nothing, no lookout, no come up, no hey, I appreciate it, not a damn thing. So how would you address that? Like, is there certain policies that you would kind of like get, maybe essential worker hazard pay, or maybe something of that nature? Like, do you have any ideas for that?
Absolutely. I actually feel like the student loans should be forgiven for essential workers.
Hell yeah.
Yes. I myself, I have student loans. I mean, that's the thing. I'm not far removed from the struggles of America, right? Of regular, ordinary citizens in America. But number one, forgiving those loans. Also, additional bonus hazard pay. Our nurses already work 12-hour shifts. I recently was employed at the Central Georgia Technical College, and so I was over the WIOA. I was the coordinator for the WIOA program, and so I had the opportunity to work very closely with our essential workers, which were basically RN, LPN, aircraft structure, maintenance workers, HVAC, all of those programs that really the steel precision machine tooling, those industries, CDL, trucking, those industries that have to keep going, right? The world had to keep turning. I had the chance to work with them, and so just to be able to learn their struggles and what they go through. They work 12-hour shifts. When they're in school, right, before they even get there, they're required to work sometimes over 8-hour days, with clinics in class. And so again, you have their mothers, right? A lot of the times at the technical college, they're non-traditional students. And so you have mothers who need help with childcare. You have mothers who need help with transportation. That's what the WIOA program did, is it actually provided them additional funds to help with that. It was $10 in this particular area, $10 a day for childcare and $10 a day for gas. So they had the capacity to make $30 a day. But again, if we know that they're the backbone, we need to support them more. Recently in Georgia, a number of rural hospitals closed. Well, if we supported that infrastructure in those industries, that would keep institutions like that open. Because look, when the pandemic hit, we were out of beds, and then we had to have makeshift tents and stuff. And so there's just, again, and having those hospitals open, employing more technical students, so that we can provide this health care that I was talking about. I mean, it's there. We just got to make it happen. It has to be the focus of the conversation. We have to make it happen.
We definitely do. And it seems like you're really can't even get that out. Really willing to fight for all of these, and that's amazing. So we're going to go ahead and conclude the second part, and definitely got a good one for the part 3. But we'll be back with the amazing JaMelle Hill.
Thank you.